Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Kartstriff Racing 2 with BrogAutohaus. Today is all about the Hachi Roku. This is a Tier 1 vehicle that most people probably bought as one of their first of a couple cars. It was usually between this or the Miata or something like that. So this one in particular, I do have the engine swap for. It's a 2-liter i4 turbo, which is similar to an SR20 out of a real-world vehicle. And today we're going to jump into a top 32 battle and show you the way through that, where we end up finishing on the podium. And after the top 32 battle, we will also go through the full tuning breakdown of the car. So if you're here just for the tuning, go to about the last 5-6 minutes of the video. But if you want to see the battles, I'm going to give some tips, tricks, pointers, things that I look for when I'm battling people and qualifying and everything like that. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. This is qualifying run number 1 out of 3 of the qualifying runs. So kind of flick it in. I do have the semi-slicks on the Hachi Roku here. Very wide on that outside zone 2, but I kind of recovered it to come outside zone 3 and get that really well. Have my rear tire as close to that line as possible. Outside zone 4 and 5 were very well filled out as well. So honestly, that was a really good first run for me. I wouldn't say I normally have first runs that go that well, but in this case, I put up just shy of 14,000 points. Here's run number 2. I can get a little more aggressive. I have a decent score on the board. As you can see, I initiated a little late and then had way too much speed going into outside zone 2 and just wasn't able to hold on to the corner even with those semi-slicks on it. So we'll fast forward this just through the end here, since that run is basically a throwaway. And then run 3, since I already have a decent score on run 1, like I said, I'm just going to send it and see if I can beat that previous score. Nice initiation out on the outside zone 1. Swing outside zone 2 was shallow. I think I was kind of nervous from going off in the previous run. And then I got to outside zone 3 really well on the outside left. And then 4 and 5, I ended up getting my back tires in the grass and setting myself off track. So I'm going to have to live with the fact that I got to start with my qualifying run number 1. Which didn't put me in the greatest position, but I ended up qualifying, you can see 4th there, but I qualified 6th after everybody got done qualifying. There wasn't enough people in the battle, so I went straight to a top 8, where I was against a Spark ZR that had qualified with about 800 points more than me. So basically, I know in chase I need to have 800 points more than what he chases me. So I need to be really on his door. I need to put up a lot of points, and here you can see I flicked it in. Got into 4th gear. Too much handbrake there on the transition. It set me way back and I wasn't able to close that gap and get the points that I was really looking for. Here you can see me, I'm kind of angling up to straighten out a little bit to get more speed to get up on him, which then of course, too much speed, not enough grip. I went too far to the outside and missed out on that final corner there. So going into run 2, I kind of know he's pretty fast. I need to maybe have a little less angle in order to chase better proximity to get those points that you see accrue on the kind of the back bumper position area as you're chasing. So you'll see it here. I didn't really flick with him that much, but a little feint entry, get right up on him. You can see that back bumper score counting. That's because of my proximity and similar angle to him. This run was really good. I transitioned in the right spots, a little lazy in a couple spots. There I transitioned too early, so I know that in the 3rd run I need to kind of hold back a little bit on that and transition a little later. But nonetheless, great chase run of 15,300 points. Anytime you're in the 15,000s on this San Palazzo track in chase, that is a very good score. So 3rd and final run, I know I have a great score on the board. I just want to send it and see if I can better that previous score. So you can see I flicked it in a little harder, got further out, touched the grass a little bit, and again in that transition from outside zone 1 to outside zone 2, I fell way off, lost a lot of speed, kind of screwed up my whole line, my whole angle, and then here I was trying to push just a little too hard and ended up touching him, which obviously cancels out the multiplier and pretty much cancels the run. So my best run was the 2nd run I ran. And then you can see here, there's still quite a bit of time left. He ran one more course, got up to 28.6, which was still 300 shy of me. And then he must have paid the 2 gold to try one more time and got to 28.7, but still not able to best my 28.9. So he really, really wanted to get to the top 4, but he wasn't able to. So I advanced onto the top 4 against a Ice Ranger that scored 14,400. So again, kind of that 800 DP gap there in the scoring and points that I have versus my opponent. You can see he's on semi-slick, so I'm going to keep my semi-slicks on as well. And the Ice Ranger that looks quite squatted, so I imagine he'll be really grippy. As you can see, I initiated in 4th gear. I realized he had a lot of angle in that first turn, and then I got kind of lost in the smoke a little bit here on turn 2 and 3. Tried to lower the angle to get up on him a little further. But nonetheless, he was definitely a difficult one to chase. He was really fast with really high angle, and that's not always the easiest to follow down. So as we advance to run number 2 of this one, that was a good score, 14,000. You know, like I said, if I can get to that 15,000 point, that would really be where I want to be. As we're going into here, I know I need to kind of get some more speed before I initiate into him. So I didn't really manji at all to the start. Got into 4th gear, went pretty far beyond him, and then that set me up on the wrong line for chasing further. I'm in a similar position to where I was in the first race, which I was trying to close that gap more and more, and then here you can see I just totally messed up and transitioned at the wrong time. Got a little too aggressive, ended up touching his front bumper, so we can call that basically a nullified run. It's completely gone. So here on the 3rd run, I really haven't put that great of a chase score in, but it's either I'm going to the finals or I'm going to a 3rd place battle. So I need to put all I can into it and see what I can do. So again, trying to get a little bit of manji in there just to kind of get on a similar line to him, but it did set me back a bit further, and then I had to handbrake to make that transition happen faster, which put me in really bad, you know, visually in the smoke behind him. And then I ended up following him much better in this final outside zone, but it just wasn't quite enough to get the points that I was hoping for. I still ended up finishing with like 13,300, 13,200. So not a great outing on the top 4 battle. I was a little disappointed in myself for that one, but you know, it is what it is. I thought maybe I'd give it one more try with the 2 gold. I don't really like that this is an option, but I figured since I'm doing this for the YouTube episode and everything today, that I would try to see if I could maybe snag them with one more opportunity. So we're going to jump into a potentially the 4th run out of the battles here. So I wanted more speed, got in on him. I knew he transitioned early, keeping on throttle, staying out of his smoke a little bit. And you can see I'm getting better proximity here and kind of sticking with him, but I still didn't quite have the speed that I needed to get close enough to his door to make it a competitive final score. And although I did score 14,500, which was, in my opinion, a really good score on that chase, it just didn't happen to be quite enough. So I still ended up short of him, let's see here, about 500 DP. So not the best, like I said, but we're going into a 3rd place battle, which I'm looking forward to against a Spectre RS that essentially scored almost the same score as me on qualifying. So this should be fun. He should have, you know, a very similar kind of line, speed, angle, given that we had a similar score. So we'll hop out and see if we can at least finish with a podium position in 3rd place here. And again, like I said, guys, after this little battle here, we will be heading over to the tuning details on the vehicle and walking you through all my tuning settings, suspension, tires, wheels, engine, transmission, and going through all the details there. So stay tuned. Or jump to the final 5-6 minutes, something like that, of the video. So as you can see, I was starting to chase him pretty well here, but couldn't get on the right line off that first one. But I knew, based on the first run, what I needed to change for my 2nd run here, and you'll see I made a couple adjustments in how I approached chasing this particular player. And I will say, you know, the ones that have higher angle and maybe a little less speed are definitely more difficult for me to chase. I think it's tuning related, obviously, but you can see I flick it into 4th, get up on him a little bit. As we transition here, I felt like I was in a perfect position to where I needed to be to finish out this run, but he accelerates a fair amount out of that 2nd outside zone, and I couldn't get my car to do the same as far as acceleration coming out of that spot. So on the 3rd run, basically, although this one was a very well scored 2nd run, on the 3rd run, I know that out of outside zone 2, I need to take some angle out of the car to give some more speed to kind of match what he's doing coming out of that corner. So that's always kind of a tough one. I did have a weird lag in between the second and third game, but we'll jump back into the third race here. And like I said, knowing that on that second outside zone, he comes out of it really fast. So I need to have less angle and stay on throttle. So as we initiate here, get on him pretty good. I know I'm transferring here, and then I'm staying a little bit less angle so that I can maintain the speed that he is out of that outside zone 2, which I did a pretty good job of there, which led me into a perfect position in outside zone 3 and 4, as well as outside zone 5. I was a little shallow, but nonetheless I had a great chase run there. Ended up with almost 16,000 DP in chase. So that was definitely my best chase of the event, and it ended up putting me in the third position in this top 32 battle. So ended up with that third place. You'll see you get the reward, which I still think needs to be much higher reward for going through a whole top 32 battle. You only get $5,000 for getting third place. I think it's like $7,000 or $8,000 for first place, which is pathetic. It should be like 50. So anyways, maybe we can talk to CarX about that in the future. Let's jump on over to the tuning details. I'll go through the body kit I have on the car, the wheels, tires, suspension, everything. So stay tuned here. In just a moment, we'll jump over to that. All right, guys. So tuning-wise on the Hachi Roku here, as you can see, I do have the missile body kit on mine. They do have the slide kit that you can see here. Nice looking kit overall. CBW, which also looks really nice in my opinion. RT, which is kind of like the missile kit but with a rear bumper, and then the D-Master, which is the kind of Rocket Bunny kit that they have for this car, which looks really cool. I just don't know if I want to spend 25 gold on it. So we'll just stick with what I've got for now, which is the missile kit with pretty much no rear bumper, but it does have a diffuser and some exhaust. So all right, let's jump into the tuning here and go through that real quick. We do have this at a Pro Drift 3, which is required in order to have an engine swap, and I do have the 2.0 i4 Turbo engine swap for it, which is the SR20, and you will be able to get this tune in the tuning workshop under BrogAutohaus. It is listed already when this video is live. If you don't want to pay for it, you can certainly copy over the settings that I have on here, and we'll go through those real quick. 13 centimeters on the front springs, 60 on the stiffness, full sway bar, 0.06 toe, -4 degrees of camber, 15 caster. So the caster's all the way out on this one with 74% accrement angle. If you notice that you're locking maybe to too much angle, you can try to lower that caster a little bit, but to be honest, with the semi-slicks on it and the engine swap, I think it works really, really well the way it's set up right now. 65 degrees of wheel divergence angle, slow bump, fast bump, rebound, fast rebound. We'll jump to the rear suspension here. You can see the rebounds and bumps there. You can pause the screen if you need to copy any statistics over. -1 camber in the rear is pretty much what I run on every single car. 0.06 of positive wheel toe, which I have been told is not necessarily the right thing, but quite frankly, I like how it drives when it is set that way, so I'm going to stick with it. 48 on the rear sway bar, 60 on the stiffness, which is the same as the front, and the 13 centimeters. So you can see on the front and rear, we have 13 centimeters of height with 60 Newton meters of stiffness on front and rear both. We're running a 17-285 by 30 in the front and a 17-285/30 in the rear. So a square setup all the way around. I could maybe go up to an 18, but again, it's just one of those things where the way it's set up right now, it's working so well, I don't really want to change a whole lot. So this is the engine maxed out, which with the SR20 is about 773 horsepower at 709 Newton meters of torque, which is pretty good. The transmission tuning is probably the most important part of a tune. I know the suspension and wheels make a big difference as well, but the transmission's where the real magic happens. I do have this at a 0.66 differential with a 4.0 overall gear ratio. And you can see as we go down here, I've adjusted third, fourth, and fifth gear quite a bit. Third gear at a 115, fourth gear at a 0.97, and then fifth gear at a 0.83, which, as you'll notice from when you watched earlier on my battles and everything, I don't use fifth gear a lot. It's only for really big, high-speed tracks. The brakes are shared 74% to the front axis at 3,800 Newton meters. and the axes are all the same bone stock, zeros, 1,000 kilograms of weight, and 24% center of mass height. So that's the tuning details, guys. As always, appreciate you watching the videos. If you could slap that like button, it's always really appreciated. It helps the algorithm. I know it's cliche to say as a YouTuber, but it really does help, so I appreciate it. And subscribe to the channel for future content. If you guys are looking for certain videos, certain vehicle tunes, drop a comment below and I'd be happy to let you know if I want to make them. Most of the time, I am certainly happy to make videos that I haven't made before, and if I have made them before, I'll let you know where to find them. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Appreciate you watching. Put your life in drive. We'll see you next time.